Newcastle's Missing Girls, 1979. An update on the suspect, March 2020. In this video, I will discuss the latest appearance in Newcastle Local Court on March the 4th, 2020, of Warren John McCorriston. This will include a new charge being added to the other 22 charges that relate to alleged historic sexual assault, grievous bodily harm, and attempted strangulation offences. I will then briefly talk about the evidence I have discussed in previous videos and possible conclusions that could be drawn from this. Warren John McCorriston has emerged as a person of interest in the current cold case investigations of two teenage girls who disappeared within 2 weeks of each other from the Newcastle area in 1979. In previous videos, I have discussed their disappearances and that of 4 other teenage girls. This included discussing Warren John McCorriston's connections to some of the victims. You can find links to these videos in the description below and at the end of this video. To my knowledge, he has never been convicted of any criminal offence, but was acquitted of a sexual assault in 1980. In that case, he had picked up a hitchhiker, then drove her to bushland and claimed that what occurred was consensual. Since then, he has become a highly successful businessman managing resorts in Queensland. The Newcastle Herald reported on the 5th of March 2020 that Warren John McCorriston, 58, chose not to appear on the audio-visual link from jail during a brief mention of his matter in Newcastle Court on Wednesday. In relation to the cold case investigation of the girls who disappeared in 1979, the same article states, "Investigations into the suspected murders uncovered information relating to the unrelated sexual assault allegations which prompted Mr. McCorriston's arrest," police have said. And the court heard on Wednesday that there was now a fresh charge of abducting a girl under the age of 16. The local NBN television news provided a bit more detail on the fresh charge.
Today, the former Belmont man's case was briefly mentioned in Newcastle Local Court, and detectives came armed with a new charge, abducting a girl under 16 years from a lawful parent. Police allege it occurred in 1979 when the girl was just 10 years old.
Mr. McCorriston has not entered any pleas, and the matters were adjourned until April 16 for detectives to complete and serve the brief of evidence against him. So it's very clear that no charges have been laid against him in relation to the disappearances that are being investigated by Strike Force Arapaima. However, from my investigations that focused on the current and past media reports, it seems very clear that there are several unusual coincidences that link Warren McCorriston to some of the girls who disappeared. I discussed this in detail in my previous videos. Given these links and the nature of the current and past unproven allegations, it can be seen why he would be a person of interest in their disappearances and suspected murders. However, at this stage, it appears there is no evidence to directly link him to their disappearances or eliminate him as a suspect. Even if he is guilty of all the charges laid against him, it does not lead to the conclusion that he is responsible for all, or even any, of the disappearances in 1978 and 1979 of the 6 girls I have mentioned in previous videos. If nothing else, it means he is more likely to remain a person of interest in the disappearances of at least some of these girls. However, there are other persons of interest into their disappearances. There was an inquest that occurred in 2001 and 2002 into the disappearances in 1978 and 1979 of Leanne Goodall, Robyn Hickie and Amanda Robinson. 6 of the witnesses called at this inquest were persons of interest. They included someone who was convicted of picking up a hitchhiker at Belmont in 1979 and raping her, and someone else who at the time had a fetish of sneaking up behind women and using scissors to cut off a piece of their hair. The persons of interest even included the convicted serial killer Ivan Milat, who was living and working in the area at the time of the disappearances. Unfortunately, there were, and probably still are, a number of predators in the community who are more than capable of committing such offences, but even proving someone is capable of a particular offence does not prove they did it. So my conclusion is that Warren John McCorriston is probably the police's strongest person of interest in at least some of these disappearances. But there are other persons of interest who could be responsible. It is also not beyond the realms of possibility that different people may have been responsible for different disappearances. Someone who has never been on the radar as a person of interest could even be responsible. Who knows? I think the biggest problem in solving these cases relates to police investigations or lack of investigations at the time. In all cases, it seems police considered them runaways and did minimal investigations before abandoning them. In one instance, they did not even start a case file. The most unusual one was where the 2 girls were together when they disappeared. The file on one of these girls was lost. It appears police did not even know they knew each other or that they disappeared together, at least not until 20 years later, when this was discovered as part of Strike Force Fenwick in 1998. The other girl's file was closed the following year, with the parents being told she was contacted and that she had said she was now over 18 and did not want any contact with her family. However, there is no other evidence of her being seen or heard of again by anyone since the day of their disappearances. Did police lie to the parents, or was something else going on here? We'll probably never know. With that, I'll just remind you to contact police if you have any information that may help them in regards to the disappearances of Robyn Hickie, Amanda Robinson, Anni Tominac, Joy Hodgins, Leanne Goodall, Amanda Zolis, Gordana Kotevski, or any other person. Contact details are in the description below. If you found these videos interesting and would like to see more of my videos, then please subscribe and click on the bell icon to be notified when I upload future videos. I'm David A. Elliott. Try to have a good one and see you around like a rissole.